Rockets are in a winner-go-home situation when they host Game 6 against the KD-less Warriors. Will Kane still here with us. Stephen A., if the Rockets lose, is their championship window closed?
Yes, it is. I think this is their best shot. I think that when you look at what's happening in free agency, y'all, just the landscape of things, you think about what the Warriors can end up being if KD stays. If you think about what the Clippers will be if Kawhi Leonard comes to town. If you think about what the Lakers can be if they luck up and get somebody to join LeBron James, whether it's Kyrie Irving coming to join him in L.A., a Kemba Walker or somebody like that. When you look at the landscape in the Western Conference, standing pat and doing what you did these last 2 seasons, this is it. To me, this is it. Now, obviously, there is one caveat to all of this, and I'm surprised nobody brought this up, including myself, because we haven't been thinking about this. Max and Will, y'all will recall that when Jimmy Butler had demanded that he wanted out of Minnesota, it was the Houston Rockets who reportedly were willing to give up 4 first-round picks in order to get Jimmy Butler. So I'm kind of surprised that I haven't heard their names mentioned when we talk about potential trades and things of that nature. Since you were willing to give up the house for Jimmy Butler, who's to say you can't find some sucker in the NBA to take those picks, come this summer or whenever? But that's beside the point. In the end, when I look at the Houston Rockets, I view a team that is who they are, while elevation is taking place in various other parts throughout the Western Conference. And that's why I believe right now is their best chance to advance to the NBA Finals. They don't get it done now. I don't think they're going to get it done anytime soon.
I don't feel that way. When you look at the Rockets, Stephen A., the real key ingredient there is Daryl Morey. He is the guy who identifies the undervalued assets and goes after them. When I heard he wanted to trade 4 firsts or whatever the trade was for Jimmy Butler, my first thought is, Jimmy Butler looks so bad. Maybe Butler's a little better than I think he is right now. The James Harden situation was a heist, and then he put James Harden in a position to win. He put him in the best possible position, and then hired him a coach to even, amplify what it was James Harden was doing. So when you look at the Rockets right now, it's not just that they have Morey. It's that the Golden State Warriors, it seems, are likely to lose KD. So when you talk about the competition getting better, that's true throughout the league. But the obstacle that they've faced in terms of getting over the hump is likely to get worse. And whatever you think about Chris Paul's decline, and this is they're going to have James Harden. They're going to have Chris Paul. They're going to have Clint Capella. And I have a lot of faith in Daryl Morey, based on his track record, that he's going to put the other pieces around them to remain highly competitive. Once the Warriors lose KD, if that in fact happens, they're no longer invincible. You can't say the window's closed for the Rockets.
Not only do they have Harden, Capella, and CP3, they will also have Eric Gordon under contract next year. The point being, the core of the Houston Rockets will be right back here again next year. I actually agree with Max on this, Stephen A. The situation you described is a dispersion of talent. KD leaving Golden State changes everything. It lowers the bar. All of a sudden, having 4 superstars isn't the bar anymore. And I think that makes the Rockets' path even more clear. Next year, the NBA ought to be way more wide open. Actually, now that we think about it, this season going forward, as long as KD is out, is a precursor for next year. So if you believe the Rockets should do something this year, next year should be no different. This year, meaning with KD injured, this year's version of the Warriors is what next season should look like if KD leaves.
And Chris Paul's decline is not precipitous.
If KD stays, your point is correct.
But what I'm saying to you, Will, is here's why I think you're wrong. CP3 is not the same now as he was last year, but he's still on the roster. So in other words, if we're talking about, and Max Kellerman, you just need to remove yourself from this argument, because all I got to do is point out how, prejudiced you are against age. The older you get, Max Kellerman's going to hold it against you. Cliffs and everything else in between. All those isms that you want to throw out there, ageism and beyond, that's what Max does.
We're just talking about Chris Paul, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that Chris Paul, we've been making the argument that Chris Paul, even though still very good, very talented, is not the same Chris Paul that he was a year ago. So all I'm saying is, to me, you can't convince me that Houston's opportunities are going to be the same, Will, or better next year than they've been the last 2 years. Last year and this year. I don't believe that.
CP3 will be 35, and that is correct. But I don't think the drop in the Rockets from CP3 turning 34 to 35 and whatever production correlates with that will be as great as the drop in the top level of the NBA. I think the drop of the Warriors coming out.
There.
Again, if KD leaves, you think if KD leaves the Warriors, all of a sudden you've got how many teams in contention? 5? 6?
No.
5 on the same level? So in other words,
I see what you're saying.
the top of the mountaintop got chopped off.
I see what you're saying, but you have to understand that I am assuming that if you are KD, for example, and you're healthy enough to play, and you leave the Warriors, you're going to go to somebody else and make them as formidable as the Warriors. I'm a believer in Joe.
Why?
No.
As formidable as the Warriors.
Hold up, Max. If KD goes to the Clippers with Kawhi, you and I are on the record saying that the Clippers.
That's a big if.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's not that big of an if you really think about it. It's
Well,
actually
listen,
very
okay.
possible.
If Kawhi and KD wind up on the Clippers, they're the favorites. The Rockets still have a puncher's chance, but consider that Chris Paul's decline, and I expect it to be a steady decline at this point in his career, still maybe puts him at an all-star level. What about Clint Capella? Is he done as a player, or might he be an all-star?
Don't we like Portland? Don't we like Denver? Are we not on the record saying the combination of Kawhi and KD? Are we not on the record talking about Kyrie Irving joining LeBron in LA? What if those things happen? Where's Houston? Where's Houston
I'm not
if those
saying
things happen?
Look, there's more competition, and Houston's among them. But the insurmountable obstacle has then been removed. That's the point. The Warriors with KD were and by the way, Houston still almost beat them. The Warriors with KD.
2 years in a row, you knocking on the door. I don't believe that. I think this is Houston's last shot. And I'm not counting out the Warriors, by the way. It's not like if they lost KD, they'd end up empty-handed. These are the Warriors we're talking about here.